Nick, and I'm 14.
Joe, I'm 17.
Kevin, 19.
But it's cool, 'cause we're just
Fans.
oh yeah. Just
Fans.
just
Fans.
I feel very lucky to be a Jonas brother.
All right, welcome to the We're Just Fans podcast. So, you guys are probably new here and you guys are probably like wondering what the hell, like there's a Jonas podcast in town. Well, actually, we're like the second or third Jonas podcast that ever existed in existence. It is honestly going to be such a fun journey getting to start this Jonas podcast with you guys. If you guys do not know me, my name is Monique. And I've been a Jonas fan since 2006. I think what made me a Jonas fan, honestly, was watching the Mandy music video. I could have sworn when I saw the Mandy music video, it was during like an episode of Zoe 101. I believe it like played, was it that or was it like a Disney commercial? I know it played in Zoe 101. It was in one of Zoe 101 seasons. I think it was like the first season Manny played. But I just remember Manny being the first video that introduced me to the Jonas Brothers. And that's honestly how I became a fan of the Jonas Brothers. Although I will not lie, I'm one of the very rare fans that doesn't have a lot of memories that I can share photograph wise. Like if you guys follow me on social media at You and the Moons, or you've been following me on any of my like TikTok accounts, or if you've just been following me for a while on social media, you guys will know I post the same regurgitated throwback, which is that one video, which thankfully, thank God, I was editing videos on my mom's Dell laptop back in the days, making little montage videos, because the one video I have of me, which I will put up here, is that video of me pointing to a Jonas Brothers poster, which I'm pretty sure is Sakura 2008, Sakura 2009-ish, but it's like, that's the only throwback I have of myself. And a screenshot picture that I took from like this thing I posted on my Demi fan page like years and years ago of all my Demi tickets, and it was my Jonas Brothers 2010 Camp Rock tour. Demi was the opener, Camp Rock was there too. Camp Rock 2 cast, by the way. That tour. I took that ticket to meet with me to college, and I cannot find it for the life of me. So that genuinely is what I have. I don't have too many throwbacks, and it absolutely sucks because I feel like a lot of fans have pictures of them like touching the tour bus, signing the tour bus, them in merch, them at their first Jonas concert. Mind you, when I went to my first Jonas concert in 2010, I was the opening night of the Camp Rock tour. I didn't have a freaking I didn't have nothing. I didn't have I have a picture of me in the tour bus. Now, I do remember that on my mom's cell phone, which I don't know what I did with the pictures to it, but on my mom's cell phone, the one that I have all of my Special Night with Demi concert clips on, I do remember taking a picture of, now you remember this, 2010 tour. We'll get into tours in this podcast. I definitely want to do episodes dedicated to tour. But you remember when like the 2010 Camp Rock tour was like, it was sponsored by Papermate or something like that? Or was it Office Max? Office Max. I will put a picture up here. It was sponsored by Office Max. I know I have a picture somewhere, somehow, of that I had a picture somewhere of that, but I don't have it anymore. That was probably about one of the other things, and I think the only thing we took at the concert, which I think about this every time I hear Tayo Cruz's Dynamite, I think of like the Jonas Brothers tour, 2010, first concert ever. I'm sitting in the lawn seats with this blanket. My mom has brought, I brought a blanket from home, some hosted cupcakes, and 2 waters that at the line when I had to come in, get in the venue, they tell me to take off my top of my drinks. They still make you do that in concerts, which really sucks. Like, we've grown so far, but like not too far. Like, they was like not too much, but that was honestly my first concert I ever went to. But I remember just being in the crowd, and we was trying to show my cousin's videos, and Tayo Cruz's Dynamite was playing in one of the videos we had. And then I think during that concert, I tried to get like closer to like, okay, so like we're in the lawn, which is basically grass. I'm walking to like before you walk down to get to the main section. So if you guys went there for the Remember This tour too, you guys remember like that section. I was sitting down there for floor, which is insane. I'll have to do a whole episode of Remember This tour too. I was sitting down there for floor, which is like a full circle moment to be in the same venue. Now you're doing floor for the same group you saw here like 10 years ago at your first concert with your mom. But yeah, I tried to move down, get closer videos, but that didn't happen. There was a video of me trying to record like some camp rock intro, outro, whatever. That was my first concert. And when the boys split up in 2013, oh, I lost it. Where was y'all at? We gotta do a whole episode on the breakup. Oh my God. Like the breakup is literally, it's literally been like, I think 10 or 11 years now since the breakup happened. And last year I was like, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to acknowledge it. But it happened. And I happened to be driving to high school and I had B96 or Kiss FM on. I think it was B96. And I heard the Jonas Brothers broke up. Kid you not, I have a picture on my Instagram archived because we don't talk about that. But where I was like, man, I'm gonna miss them. I always love them. They're everything to me. I remember watching the edits that came out in 2013. I sadly did not get to go to anything 2013. I was there for Pom Poms the first time, and then everything else is a blur. I didn't get to go to the 2013 tour either, so I would definitely love to have some people on there to talk about that tour. I would like for it to do a comparison. Like, what do y'all think about that tour versus the reunion tour? Because those two tours are like polar opposites. I was sick yesterday, so this is like me trying to record today was because I wanted to record yesterday, but I was sick and I'm still sick today. And I was supposed to be going to see Jonas Brothers today at the Illinois State Fair, but I'm not. So, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. Back to me. So I forgot what I was saying. Oh, yeah, so I didn't get to go to anything in the 2013 tour. So once they broke up, I kind of was just like at that point, like the Jonas Brothers 2010 tour is my last tour. And it's why I'm such an advocate for fans, if your favorite band gets back together, for you to go ballistic and go crazy and just eat it up and enjoy it and soak it up, because now that I'm able to see the boys, I will take any opportunity I can to go to any shows I can make it to. And that's why I'm sad I couldn't make it to today's show. But it's like being able to have your favorite band back is something I never thought I would ever get to say I would be able to do with the Jonas Brothers, because I literally thought once they broke up, that was it. That was all. Like, Nick's going to continue doing solo stuff. Joe was going to continue to do DNCE. And Kevin was just going to be a, you know, like whatever he was doing at that time, and I think was like real estate. And then he had some developing. He was on his entrepreneur. He was in his entrepreneur bag during the breakup, which I love that for Kevin. I just, thought Kevin was just gonna settle down and do his entrepreneur shit, and I was like, I'm cool with that. Let's go. Because during that breakup time, I went to as many Nick shows as I could. My biggest regret was not doing as many DNCE shows as I would have liked to. I was planning. So the craziest thing is, before they got back together, I remember when the People to People EP dropped, I was like, I am not missing another DNCE show. My ass is going to be there, because I had to hear Man on Fire and Pay My Rent in HD live quality. Like, I had to hear it for real. And it was the People to People EP where I was like, yeah, I'm not fucking around no more. I got to be there. And that's that lo and behold, they got back together, which crushed any time of me seeing DNCE live. But if they ever do perform or do anything else here, I will definitely be in attendance. I was supporting DNCE during the breakup. It's just I never got to a DNCE show. I got to do a couple of shows for Nick. So in 2014, I got to see him at the Kiss FM Jingle Ball. I was during the time where all Nick knew was Changed and Jealous, but I ate it up regardless. I think he only performed those two songs that whole night. But mind you, I wasn't just going for Nick. I also was going for Demi. But then, of course, like, there was other amazing acts like Jessie J, Fall Out Boy, One Republic. Ryan Tedder was there. I literally saw Ryan Tedder walk through the crowd. That was like insane. The video that I do have of it is literally zoomed in, but I promise y'all, like, he was like walking down and he was like right down like my aisle. Like I could have ran up to him. But like anyways, I went to that tour and he only performed 2 songs. But again, I was going for the lineup. The lineup was fire that year, just like in 2015. Now in 2015, Nick he basically like stepped his game up because in 2015 he did a bunch of songs from Nick Jonas X2, which I was really happy about because I got to hear songs like Numb, Weird Wilderness, things like that, and that was a B96 Summer Bash. Now this B96 Summer Bash was pretty cool because I also was there for Usher, and oh my god, Usher and Nick, like the iconery that was. It was raining that day. The weather was absolutely terrible, but I can do a whole story time just on the B96 Summer Bash because that was an insane night. That was an insane night. And when I mean to tell you before Usher got on, it was thunderstorming, lightning, raining. Like I heard the weather is not so great outside. It's very rainy today for Joe's birthday, which really sucks. Like that's partially one of the reasons why I'm glad I'm not there, but then also at the same time I'm sad I'm not there. So yeah, it's a toss up. I'm 50-50 on how I feel about it today. I'm taking it surprisingly well than I thought I would be. I think that's because I've already mourned not being able to go, and I lived in Delulu land until now. And I'm like, yeah, it wasn't going to happen. So after that show, I saw Nick with Demi at the Future Now tour, which I wasn't even supposed to go to that because, fun fact, I didn't even think I was going to go, didn't get any tickets until I was in my T-Mobile Tuesday app, which I have not been on, like, I'm a T-Mobile's customer. I have not been using T-Mobile Tuesdays. They have slacked because T-Mobile Tuesdays that year in 2016, I got a coupon for Ticketmaster. So what I did is I went in there with the coupon to see, like, how much would a ticket cost for this tour? Because I was, like, thinking about it. I was like, should I go? Should I not go? I oopsie daisied and I wound it up at the Future Now tour in nosebleeds. Best concert of my life, one of the best concerts of my life, because it's like, imagine your 2 favorite artists of all time, which for me is Demi Lovato and the Jonas Brothers, but one of the Jonas Brothers, a Jonas brother. Imagine your 2 favorite artists of all time are touring on the same tour, and it's a 1-for-1 special. I paid to see Demi and Nick. I also got to see Mike Posner. Like, I got to hear Cooler Than Me. Like, what? So it was like the tour of my dreams. I really wish I could have been there to see like the Jonas Brothers all together as a trio and Demi opening. Wait a minute. Goddamn, wait a minute. I did it twice. I did it twice. I just forgot like the first tour I ever went to for them, both of them was a joint tour. Like, but anyways, that was still like an iconic tour, and the shirt I got from that tour was iconic because it was both of their faces on it. So a 2-for-1 special. Love that tour. My biggest regret for that tour, honestly, was that I did not get meet and greet. That year, I believe meet and greet was so affordable. I am regretting it. I remember like trying to call my mom and tell her like, I'm gonna get this meet and greet. What do you think? And like, mind you, I was gonna get the meet and greet before I even had a ticket. Like, I was looking at the Nick meet and greet. I heard it was like affordable as hell. It wasn't expensive because compared to what now, this was a tour where they had that controversial $10,000 meet and greet with Nick and Demi, which we can talk about that in the whole Future Now tour episode because I got thoughts. So that was one of the tours I did see Nick at. So those were all my 3 solo Nick tours, quote unquote. And then it was up until the reunion in 2019 when I finally saw Nick, Joe, Kevin, and them all back together again. What was crazy that January of that month, I remember tweeting on my Demi fan page. I was like, man, I really miss the Jonas Brothers. I was listening to When You Look Me in the Eyes, and I was crying because I was like, man, I miss them so bad. Like, I need them back together. Like, I literally was still rocking the peace, love, Jonas train even during the breakup. Like, a lot of people were very controversial about the boys getting back together. Some people still want Nate to go back solo and forget the brothers. I think having the band back together has been some of the happiest memories of my life because I get to share this lived and shared experience with so many Jonas fans that are just like me. And growing up, I didn't get to go to a lot of Jonas shows, so now I'm making up for lost time. And it's really cool to find other fans who didn't get that experience either growing up. I was blessed and lucky to be able to have a tour because I can imagine Jonas Brothers broke up in 2013 and you never got to see him live and you thinking like, man, I'll never get to see him. That's how I feel about One Direction. Like, that's how I feel about One Direction. Like, that's my One Direction thing. Like, that's how I feel about One Direction. All right, so here's what happened. I only get like 10 minutes to record within my SD card or something like that on here. So I didn't realize that that's what had happened. And then my camera basically stopped recording because I did like because sometimes when you're recording a podcast, you gotta do like your every so often check, especially if you're recording a podcast. I gotta check sometimes to make sure I'm still recording. Even when I'm doing YouTube videos, I gotta make sure I'm still recording, because it's like this camera will do its own thing. So we were talking, I can't remember where we left off at, but I believe we were talking about the reunion tour. We were getting into the reunion tour. So I did go to the reunion tour. I went to the reunion tour like twice. I went to the September 19th show at the United Center, and then they did another show. They put another show later on December 3rd at the Allstate Arena. I also went to that one. That one was amazing. I wasn't even supposed to go to that one. I had literally got tickets like the day of the show to go, and I was at 2 shows that tour, which was insane because it's been a while since I've been able to do that for again. I've done it for Justin Bieber, but I haven't done it for them again. And that one only worked because they had multiple dates in the same city. Like, had they had another date last year of the tour, I probably definitely would have went, but excuse me, they didn't. So it's okay. So after that, I didn't go to any shows they had in between the so like between the Remember This tour, the Happiness Begins tour through the Remember This tour, I didn't go to any of the Vegas shows, didn't do any of that. So cause I think they had some Vegas shows before the Remember This tour, and then I went to the Remember This tour. I went to the one, I believe it was the same month as my Happiness Begins tour date. It was September 12th. I went to that one. Honestly, I'll do a whole episode breaking down what I wore and what I thought about the shows overall. I went to that one, and then I think between the Remember This tour and the tour, it was like a year and a half. I didn't go to any of the residencies. I didn't get to do the pawn shops. I got nothing. I didn't get to do nothing. Like, when I tell you, I wasn't even in the secret. Listen, there was a secret show in Chicago. I live in Chicago. I wasn't even at that secret show. So I did nothing for like the last year and a half, and then I got to the tour. That was my 5th show in general for the Jonas Brothers, if we're not counting Nick's solo stuff as a shows too. And I went to the August 25th show, which I'll do a whole podcast episode on that show. And I saw them play the sold out Wrigley Field stadium. It was really special to me because I won't go into too much details, but I lost my uncle last year, and his favorite sports team was the Cubs. So getting to see my favorite band play the Cubs field was kind of like a little bit of like my uncle was there with me in some type of like spiritual way. But it was just a really nice time. Those are all the shows that I've done. I would have been at the State Fair today. It just wasn't in my cards. Also, while I'm recording today on a very, very special day, today is Joe Jonas's 25th birthday. I wasn't planning on actually talking about this in the lineup because technically when I was supposed to be recording this podcast yesterday, it wasn't his birthday, but today is his birthday. So happy birthday to our front man, our leader, Joe Jonas. It is so crazy growing up with Joe and getting to see him flourish. It's just a beautiful experience. And I am so happy that he's opening up about his mental health and getting to like basically let us into what his mind is thinking. And a lot of it's really relatable. So I cannot wait for the Music for People Who Believe in Love album, because it's going to be Chef's Kiss. Like, that song about being your own best friend is so good. Like, I can't wait to dissect the lyrics. I can't wait to get into it. I can't wait to talk about it from a mental health perspective, because I am a Jonas fan who suffers with mental health issues, and I also am medicated. So I feel like I can definitely talk about it and have other people here to share their experiences about their mental health journey through being Jonas Brothers fans. So I went through all of my Jonas history, but I guess I will share some of my notices I've had, a fun fact, and just some stuff that I want to do on a pod so you guys know what to expect, and we're going to wrap it up. Notices! Oh my god. Can we talk about notices for a second? I was not supposed to get a notice. Like, they were not supposed to get a jersey. I was not supposed to get a notice. But it was due in time. So I've been a fan since 2006, and I got my first Jonas Brothers notice ever in 2019. I'll have a story time for them. If you want them separate story times, let me know. I think I will do one. But in 2019, I got a notice for my grad cap. So in 2019, I graduated from college, community college, and my grad cap was a lyric from Good Night and Goodbye, which says, "Say goodbye because I won't be back again." Also, shout out to the girl who gave me that idea out on Twitter, because I honestly had a whole different idea. I had several other ideas planned, which I can tell you guys about those in the episode just generally dedicated to that. So when they had got back together, I decided with that I was going to wear a red dress and high heels to my graduation, because I was like, my favorite band got back together, so I'm going to do that. And it was such a memorable moment. I honestly remember tweeting during the reunion era, they're never going to notice me. I'm like the one person they won't ever notice. They hate me, which is the stereotypical, they hate me. This artist hates me because they haven't noticed me yet. When they're like got like a million billion people to notice. Like, okay, maybe I'm a little dramatic, pun intended. Like, maybe I'm a little dramatic. Wink, wink.
Okay, maybe I'm a little dramatic.
I cannot wink. I am a terrible winker. Oh my god, and I lost my ability to snap too. Like, what? Ew. Okay, my second round of Jonas notices, I believe. Okay, so actually before the grad cap one, I was in a lyric video thing for Cool. So if you guys don't know how this works on Stan Twitter, back in Stan Twitter, we used to do this. I don't think nobody does it anymore. We would put lyrics in our bios, and everybody would get like a certain lyric of the song, and they would screenshot that and put it into like a project video, fan project video. And the Jonas Brothers had RT'd one of them, and I was in it. That was like my actual first Jonas notice in 2019, and then I got the grad cap one. And then I just started getting a shit ton of notices in 2023. That was my best Jonas year. I'm sorry. Sold out Jonas Brothers show at Wrigley Field in my hometown. Several notices, a Nick quote at that. Like, I was eating good last year. The boys don't even notice my existence, and I'm over here stuck in my house while a Jonas Brothers concert is about to happen. Like, in my state. Like, bad luck is following me this year. This year is not my year. This is not my Jonas year. Is it me, or am I just having a bad year? Lately, I've been feeling so uncool. But it's okay. I know God and the Jonas universes and the Jonas fates are setting something up for me special. Just like with me noticing everybody has a Jonas Brother picture with Joe Jonas, but me, I'm like, you know what? It's okay. I know my time will come, and that's how I felt about my notices. It's like, my time will come, and they definitely did come. I got a notice during the Wings like snippet era for the tour outfits I did, and then I got several notices going on from a Wings fan project I was in, something during like Waffle House. I got a notice on Christmas. I got a notice around New Year's Eve, and it was a few other ones. But Nick quoted my tweet that I did for the tour outfit idea. He said, "So awesome," and y'all can tell me, well, that's just somebody hopping on the boys' accounts tweeting that for them. That's my Nick Jonas notice, and it was crazy because I told everybody, I was like, being that I'm a Nick girl, it made so much sense for out of all the boys that day to notice me, it would have been Nick. And what was crazy about the Wings notice in general was that, like, I literally had gotten several, like, okay, so first the boys RT'd it, then they liked it, RT'd it, then Nick quoted and RT'd it and quoted it, quote RT'd and liked it. Then Kevin RT'd and liked it. Joe didn't RT or like it, but who cares? Because right after that, they like wound it to find themselves up to my TikTok version of it, and then they liked it there, which is crazy. I also had gotten Kevin to view my stories. I've gotten the boys to notice my stories during the, which was it? It was like after tour, I had said thanks for an amazing show, and they was in my DMs. They're not in my DMs, but it was in my stories, which is crazy. Yeah, and I haven't gotten any notices since then, but that's okay, because I was like, you know what, I don't want to be greedy. I had so many notices last year, and a lot of people think you got to be creative to get a Jonas notice, and that's unsimply true. I honestly could talk about this in another video maybe later on about, like, is it creativity that you need? I don't know. All right, so to kind of wrap this up, I want to share a fun Jonas fact. Oh, I did not talk about this, but I actually have a tattoo, which I will insert a photo of the song Take a Breath. It's actually a funny, kind of like a funny, sad, not so great story time on how I got the tattoo, because I originally wasn't, so I had an idea of a tattoo that I wanted to get since the 2019 tour. I was thinking about it. I kind of wanted to originally get, Light Up the World Like Only You Can Do from Comeback, but I ended up getting Take a Breath because that song just resonated with me more. And I wasn't originally going to get the tattoo, but what had happened was that I was I had spent almost over $500 getting to Atlanta to see the Jonas Brothers with Megan and Doja and Black Eyed Peas. They were going to be in Atlanta. They weren't doing any of the Jingle Bashes here in Chicago. I kind of regret not going to do the show that was here in Chicago because at least I would have saw Meg the Stallion, but was Meg at this one? I don't think Meg was even at this one either in Chicago. I think Meg was the one that I was going to, and I was going to that one because it's like at that time it was Jonas, Meg, Doja, and the Black Eyed Peas. The Black Eyed Peas was just like a additive, like it's like the cherry on the top. Like that was like the okay, and the Black Eyed Peas. Oh, like that lineup eight, that lineup eight, and I haven't like as a person who's been to a lot of like who's been to like maybe I would say at least, I mean, I've only been to two. I know I've been to three. I've been to three radio concerts in my life. The lineups have been like decreasing, decreasing, and decreasing of being good. Like back then, I used to go to lineups and I would see like Avril Lavigne. The first one I went to was Demi Lovato, Avril Lavigne, Cher Lloyd. Another one was like Fall Out Boy, Demi, Nick, Jessie J, One Republic, Usher, Nick, Florida. Like the lineups don't be eating like they used to because I used to see and it what was so fun about the radio shows is you would get to see a bunch of your favorite artists for one price. Now the lineups, I don't be knowing a lot of the people there, and it just don't be hitting anymore. When that got canceled, I just said, you know what, I'm gonna get a Jonas tattoo instead to make myself feel better about everything. Because when I tell you everything went wrong, everything went wrong. I had bought a cheap nosebleed $74 ticket. I was supposed to go. That was gonna be my second time seeing the boys in 2021, and it went south. So I'll have a whole story time about how I didn't end up in LA ATL because that was a sad moment. So I guess a Jonas fun fact about me would be that I don't know. I didn't really think about a fun fact about myself. I wish I had something like really cool, really fun to tell you guys. I guess my fun fact is that honestly, I made my first not my first. I made a really good friend named Katie in middle school because of the Jonas Brothers. They were the reason why I became friends with her. Well, no, that's not the reason why I became friends with her. I think the reason why we became friends is because she saw my High School Musical backpack and said, "Wow, you're cool. Let's be friends." But I had a friend in high school. Her name was Katie. Middle school. Her name was Katie. She was a Joe girl. I was a Nick girl. She proudly wore her Joe shirts to school. And we were both fans. I remember one time we were in one of these. It was like our homeroom class, and we were doing a standardized test, and we was like, okay, we're gonna pull out our Nick and Joe posters and put them on a corner of our little desk so we can have like what's the word looking for? So we can have like some good luck, the good luck charms. We would like print out pictures of Nick and Joe so much that we started making collages in middle school. We make it in our computer class, and our teacher would notice like these girls keep printing off Jonas Brothers pictures. Like we need to do something. I need to do something. So the poster that I currently have in my room is a replacement one, but I guess my fun fact would be is that a teacher did buy me like a Jonas Brothers, the Rolling Stone, like bought me and my friend like the giant Rolling Stone poster, and I had that for a while. She just knew we loved the Jonas Brothers, and she saw that. So she got that, and we used to talk a lot about like fan fiction. We heavily used OJD Jonas. Is it ODJ? Is it OJT Jonas? Obsessive Jonas Brothers Disorder, Jonas Disorder. I forgot what it's called. Correct me in the comments because it's been a minute. I haven't used that term since like what 2009. Because I really haven't used that term in years. But yeah. So what can you expect from this podcast? Sorry if I'm all over the place. So a lot of the stuff that I want to do is I definitely want to get into deep dives on a podcast. I want to talk about, like deep diving into the albums they released, memories, things that we haven't really seen. We haven't really thought about in a minute, like maybe some scandals, things like that. Not so much scandals, but like little corny stuff, like stuff that happened that like really shook the fan base. I honestly don't know if I really want to talk a lot about drama in the fan base, but if it's a hot take going around, maybe I'll put my little 2 cents out there. I honestly want this page to be a safe space to say that like you're welcome here if you've been to one show or 300 shows. If you met the boys, haven't met the boys. If you have 500 notices or 0 notices, you are all welcome here. I also had some ideas like my arm is so sore, but I had ideas like this is an SOS, like as a like play on SOS to be like the space where we tell like, you know, the latest updated news and Jonas, you know, what's going on with the boys. I love segments. When I did my last podcast, I had segments for days. Maybe I can do like a Jonas trivia at the beginning of each podcast. I loved doing that with my last JB podcast, which wasn't this JB, it was Justin Bieber. And I would do like a daily trivia question, and then I would come back with the answer at the end of the podcast. That was so much fun. I, you know, got to put these, of course, these segments together. But I wanted you guys to get to know me and get to know what this podcast is all about. We are a podcast ran by a fan for the fans. I am Monique. I'm at We're Just a Fan. We're Just Fans podcast. This is a podcast, you know, that's for the fans. And it's ran by the fans, and it's with so much love for the boys and their music and their artistry and the legends that they are, because people don't forget like how much power they had on their hands. They were like we were big as Beatlemania. Like we was up there at Beatlemania. Like let's not act like we weren't crazy back then. And it's just honestly going to be so much fun to do this podcast and get to run it with you guys. I am so excited to see where this podcast will go next. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry if my eyes are all over the place. Like, am I on the camera? I hope I am. You know, as the podcast goes, we'll get better and better. This isn't a bad first trial of, you know, the intro. So I'm going to go edit this up. I also know that Spotify allows you to leave voice messages. So you guys can leave me a voice message below and let me know some cool things, questions you want to ask me. If you want to ask me a hot take, like which album, which song I prefer, or if you have any questions on what I think about certain things, let me know. But yeah, I'm excited to jump back into doing fan podcasting. It is really fun getting to do something fun. And I want to drop these every Sunday because I feel like Jonas Sundays are just the perfect time to drop a podcast that's all Jonas centric. So I'm excited to see where this goes. And all right, you guys, bye-bye. Mwah.
Fans, I feel very lucky to be a Jonas brother.